what's up, YouTube? Yo, welcome to the second episode of the Amiracle podcast. As promised, I told y'all each episode is going to get better and better. And we still talking about what's stopping you from doing what you need to do. All right? As far as creativity, as far as like starting your business, as far as like starting anything that you have inside of your heart to accomplish. A lot of us are filled with so much gift, so much anointing, so much power of manifestation, so much talent, so much ability to make your own money, or own capital, to where you don't necessarily need to work for anybody. But you got to have a plan to make it happen, right? And a lot of us, when we're starting something, we stop or we don't start at all. And as you can see from the first episode, I asked you, what's stopping you from doing what's created inside of you? What's from creating or from actually pouring out into the world what's created inside of you, right? So I thought about it. And these three words came to my mind. Most of us suffer from the big P, right? Procrastination. Now, a lot of us procrastinate ridiculously. I mean, we'll say, oh, hey, I got this idea. I want to start a bakery. But you ain't baked nothing. You haven't went around to the local bakeries to see what they're baking. What does the market like? Right? What recipes do you have? What grandma recipes did you store? Did you write down how she made them so that you could start your bakery? Right? Most of us start scrolling on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, TV, binge watching shows. Now, if you're the type of person that binge watch things, I'm not knocking you, because a lot of inspiration comes from when you binge watch shows or when you see something on TV and you're like, oh, wow, I could watch this. I'm going to get inspired by it. I know personally that's what I do. I mean, I could watch something from National Geographic and get super inspired to do something. You know, so I'm not knocking that, but I'm just saying, what are your time wasters, right? Like, I challenge everyone who's watching, like all 0 of my audience members right now, to pay attention to what you procrastinate on. When you get an idea in your mind, what happens is that idea is a seed, right? When you get that idea in your mind, it's a seed. And once it comes into the mind, it's planted. And when you act on it, that's what the seed gets, water and it's sunlight. When you pay attention to it, that's sunlight. When you act on it, that's water. That's that force, right? It's getting fed. It's getting fed nutrients from the soil in your mind. What happens is when you procrastinate, it doesn't do nothing but die, right? What happens if you plant a seed and you never water it? You never give it sunlight. You pay no attention to it. It dies, right? And that's why most of our ideas or any idea that you have fails. It's not that you can't do it or it's hard or you can't complete the idea. You just not paying it no attention. You're not paying it no mind. You're not putting in the work to allow that thing to birth and allow it to grow. You're not nurturing it. You have to nurture that idea when it comes. Procrastination is the thief of dreams. It's not the impossibility, right? It's not the impossibility. And I challenge you all to look at your week, look at your day, look at your time that you're spending. What are you procrastinating on? Because even watching the Amiracle podcast, this is not wasting time right now. I'm feeding your gift right now. I'm feeding the miracle inside of you so that you can grow. so that you won't procrastinate, right? You won't suffer from this first major P, which is procrastination, right? Eradicate procrastination and watch your dream grow. Start today. Start today eradicating procrastination. And as you listen to people talk, right? As you listen to conversations, sometimes we often get into conversations with people about dreams, about visions, about things you want to do in life. Just listen. Listen to when procrastination shows up, because it's a little sneaky little thing. It likes to show up and say, oh yeah, maybe when I get time to do this. We always got time, believe it or not. We always got 5 or 10 minutes a day of downtime. All of us, no matter how busy we are, we got at least 5 or 10 minutes of downtime throughout the day when we can accomplish something, right, towards your dream. Now, and I'm going to expound more on procrastination. Like, I'm going to take these 3 Ps, and every podcast, I'm going to drill it into y'all for at least the next month. The whole month of March, we're talking about these 3 Ps on the Amiracle podcast. And we're going to find examples. I'm going to have some guests on the show, and we're going to find out how all of the people who I've known who are successful, who are making things happen right now, the first step to making things happen is getting rid of procrastination, right? Now, the next one. Let's talk about the next big P. Pessimism. Right? Yeah, pessimism. We all have people in our lives, friends, family, co-workers, loved ones, things you see on TV, that are pessimists. You could say, hey, you know what? I got an idea. I want to be the best patty cake player in the universe. Somebody's going to tell you all the reasons why you will never be that. Oh, I want to be the best. I'm going to apply for this grant today. I'm going to start my business today. Oh, well, you need a 501c3. Oh, you need the paperwork. Oh, okay. There are people in your life who are going to tell you every reason why something won't work. And you're going to, oh, you sure you want to do that? You sure you want to buy that camera? You sure you want to buy that lens? You sure you want to get them tools you need to create your craft? Oh, that's a lot of money. You sure you're going to hear it all the time. Don't pay attention to pessimists. I'm not saying don't be logical. I'm not saying don't be smart in your decision making. Like, I'm not even saying, don't be like, oh, hey, rent is due, but I'm going to start my business with this $2,000 I got to pay rent right now and then get evicted. I'm not saying don't do that. If your intuition is telling you you should do that, and you know a flip gonna come with that $2,000 by the time your rent is due before you get evicted, then by all means do it. I've been in situations where I've taken risk and had higher reward. But pessimism is another thief of dreams. When you're around pessimistic people, it rubs off. It's like a cancer. Because you be around them so much, and next thing you know, you're listening to all their ideas and all their pessimism, and it's adding darkness to your light. But remember, light scatters the dark. And not only does light scatter darkness, it lends its color temperature to everything it touches. So that's something for you to think about. Light lends its color temperature to everything it touches. So if you're around pessimists and the painting you're painting in your mind is colorful, it's full of pastel colors and warm hues, and they're producing all this shade, all these phthalo greens and dark colors and muddy colors inside your painting, just change your color temperature. Kind of shine a light on them to evade their pessimism or just block it off. But don't allow pessimism to stop you. And when them pessimistic thoughts get up inside your head, reroute your thinking. One of the greatest abilities we have as human beings is that we have the power to reroute our thinking instantly in real time. It takes a while to be able to control your thoughts. But the moment you hear something to say, oh, I can't do it, or somebody tell you what you can't do, just do it. Just say, yes, I can. Right? And start small. In order to beat pessimism, you got to start small. You got to create something and do something small. And keep building up that muscle of overcoming pessimistic thoughts. All right? So remember, the reason why people procrastinate is usually because they're pessimistic, right? And you defeat pessimism with being optimistic. Be very optimistic about everything. Because why shoot yourself down before you even start? Right? And the one thing, a lot of us, when we create projects that we're working on, when we're working on something and it doesn't work, you feel like a failure. Trust me, I know. And that emotion of failure, let me explain what that emotion of failure is, right? Because me personally, I've done a lot I've had a lot of highlights in my career, right? To where I'm looking like, wow, I can't believe I accomplished that. Even though I set forth in my mind that I can do it. Once it happens, I'm like, wow, this is amazing, right? But what happens is a lot of times we get pulled in so many different directions that when you actually try to get back to the thing that you're working on, because you have such optimism, when, let's say if my goal was 100% for this project, and out of this project, I got maybe a 30% completion out of my 100%. Then you feel like you failed. I feel like a failure because I failed. And I'm walking around feeling like a failure. I failed because I didn't complete this particular goal that I set forth. And mind you, it's my 100%, right? So let's say this is the norm right here. This is the norm, right, of achievement. This is the norm. I set my goal so high that even if I land on the 30% out of my 100, I'm still above the normal average of completion rate, even though I felt like a failure. Because things are going to happen. Life is going to happen to you. This is why they always say set the bar high. Because if you set the bar high enough, if you don't achieve your full vision, at least you will be above what a normal person's average rate of completion is. So that moment you feel like a failure, it'll be easy for you to get over the hump. Because people who work at a high capacity, we have this mechanism in us to where if it's not overachieved or if it's not the way exactly how you want it to be, you feel like you have failed the mission. And in those cases, you have to trust the greater is you who is in you than that's in the world. You have to trust that your creator that created you to know that I did my best and I'm still above average. And defeat pessimism. Don't quit. And here's the tricky thing about failure too. The tricky thing about failure is that, and this is coming from someone who has felt like a failure, right? You can't really fail. I know people's like, oh, what, no, I got F's on tests, or I tried this and it didn't work. But guess what? You're still alive. You're still breathing. The sun is still shining. You still have another opportunity to complete the thing that you so-called failed at. You still have another try in you. That's why it says nothing beats a failure but a try. Right? I mean, if you look at it, look at Tyler Perry. He was homeless at one point. Steve Harvey, homeless. Me, homeless at one point. Right? These things happen in life. Right? But you still have another try inside you to complete any task that you have inside you. You're never a failure. You're only a procrastinator and a pessimist. You're never a failure. Never. So don't consider yourself a failure. Or if you do reach the point where you out your mouth comes, I feel like a failure, let it only be short-lived. Only short-lived. Get over it and get to the next P, which is planning. Right? Start your plan. Start it in your mind. Your mind is the most fertile soil there is on the planet. In the universe. And I say that from a finite understanding, right? Because again, we're all finite because we're all humans operating within the infinite, right? But your mind is the first soil. That's why I recommend that everyone who is watching the Amiracle podcast to get some soil from the earth. If you've never done this, get some soil and plant a seed inside of it. And watch it. Pay attention to it. This is a meditation. This is a process of just learning how thoughts work, how the mind works, how infinite intelligence works. Your mind is soil. That's why there are so many people who can try to bring people down with these negative seeds that cause vines and decay. And make it hard for you to navigate through your own thoughts. Thoughts are the power of the world. Thoughts are the power of the world. Thoughts are what we are living in right now. I'm filming my podcast with devices that started out as thoughts. Right now, I'm transferring my thoughts into your mind. That's what being a miracle is all about. It's a miracle in having these thoughts, because having these thoughts allows you to plan. Right? Plan out your future and watch how these thoughts work with you. Watch how whatever you believe to have created you, watch how that infinite power works in you and allows you to manifest what you are working on, what you have thought up here. Just watch. Because whatever you believe in, we're all created in the image and likeness of that which created everything. Right? And it's constantly creating. It's constantly inspiring. It's constantly working through us to create more so that it can create more and inspire more. So plan to be a part of that process. All right? I'm not saying don't be a part of the machine, because the machine has its benefits, but be a part of the organism. And we'll go deep into that. The organism and the machine. That's on another podcast that's coming up. the organism and the machine. All right? I'm not saying that one is separate from the other, but what I'm saying is that you have to open up your eyes to see the organism and see the machine. And once you see this, then you'll understand the current state of the world, the current state of AI, the current state of humans, beings, and the machine. All right? So plan to not be pessimistic, plan to not procrastinate. Right? Start off today. I will not procrastinate no more. Start off today. I am not a pessimist. Start off today. I will plan. And keep reinventing yourself until you are a new creature, because it shall spring forth. A new thing will spring forth in you. It shall spring forth. Don't forget that. All right? So, don't forget, I want everybody to like, subscribe, comment. Tell me what you think of this second episode of the Amiracle podcast. I promise I'm going to keep bringing y'all new content every week. I'm dropping every Sunday, all right, new podcast. And every week we're going to keep making it dope, keep making it tighter. I would love to hear y'all comments, love to hear y'all subscribe. Let me know if this works for you. And yes, I said hear y'all subscribe, right? Yes, I want to hear y'all subscribe. I want to hear that bell dinging when you click on that notification button, letting you know that I just dropped another podcast. And let me know your thoughts, right? This is community. We all here together. And thank you so much for watching the second episode of the Amiracle podcast. And remember, don't procrastinate, don't be a pessimist, and start planning. And let me know how this works for you. Peace.